presents Worldview Radio with Brandon House.
And welcome. Glad you are with us. We're going to be joined by Aaron, a reporter from Israel on the ground over there. This is a sad day for Israel and for the nation, no doubt about it. The nation of Israel and America as well, as these coffins of four human beings paraded in a disgusting ceremony by Hamas. Of course, this would be the mother and her two children, and I think there was a fourth person. I'll have Aaron clarify, but I think we had four coffins today. Logan, was that what you saw as well? Three for sure, but I think we had four coffins being paraded. I think I would have put it up at worldviewreport.com today, but Aaron's going to join us with that. Reportedly, President Trump has, some sources are leaking that President Trump saw it, was so disgusted by it. Reportedly, he said he does not want to see one building standing in Gaza. Well, I 100% agree with that. We'll find out what Aaron thinks here in just 1 second. I want to make sure I announce this to the VCY audience, because I always try to give preferential treatment to my radio audience, because you guys have been with me for so very long. I did announce it on television last night, but I want to go ahead and immediately announce it here so that you guys are in the loop first before we put out an email alert, text alert, anything like that. I'm trying to get the word out to our loyal and faithful listening friends here now. And that is, we do now have available for you to reserve your seat for the 22nd annual National Worldview Weekend. You know, for many years we were in Branson, then Lake of the Ozarks. We're moving it to the Mid-South. In Collierville, which is where we are based, is a very safe community, very much like Waukesha for the Wisconsin people that might know. It'd be like Overland Park, Kansas for the Kansas people. Very safe suburb. Okay, it's about 30 minutes from the Memphis airport. It's a very regional airport, but also a mid-sized airport, so it's very easy to get in and out of the Memphis airport. A lot of people liked it for that reason. So in other words, it was a little bit of a chore to get to Lake of the Ozarks. I get that, and there were no close airports. This is going to make it a lot easier for people as well. So they are available now, the seats. We only have 350 seats. The theater we have rented only seats 350 people. So we have had many years where we've had 1,000, 1,500, 1,800. I think one year we had 2,300. So this is going to be a limited offer. And we've also brought the ticket prices back down because our costs are going to be less because of, the facility we're renting is a local government building, and they rent it very, very reasonably. So for that reason, we're going to be able to pass on the savings to you guys, is what I'm saying. So the tickets are greatly reduced in their price, and they're available now. First come, first serve, one price for everybody. Not doing priority seating, general seating, all that this year. We're just going to keep it very, very simple. Everything's available at worldviewstore.com, worldviewstore.com. And the speakers this year, we have confirmed Mark Mitchell, the lead pollster of Rasmussen, who's doing some fascinating polls on Americans' values, their beliefs, their worldview, what they think about religious liberty, religious freedom, abortion, same-sex marriage, what they think about Israel, what's happening there. It's fascinating to capture the worldview of Americans and let us know where we're at to understand the times. So Mark Mitchell will be with us. Gordon Chang, who of course is an expert on China, among other things. Alex Newman, expert on globalism and so many other issues as well. Chris Martenson, he's with Peak Prosperity. He was with me last night, by the way, to discuss President Trump's plan, I think with Elon Musk, to do away with the Federal Reserve and create a cryptocurrency that actually competes with the Federal Reserve. Maybe something like what, and I held it up yesterday, the money printed in 1963 by President John F. Kennedy that said, United States note. It didn't say U.S. It didn't say Federal Reserve note. United States note. I have one of those $5 redbacks, as they're known. It's a $5 bill I have. It's a redback. And I picked it up about 15 years ago in an antique store, and I knew what I was looking at, and I was shocked to see one and to be able to get my hands on it. And I'm thankful to have it. It's a great historical document. We talked about that last night with Chris Martenson at worldviewtube.com. Several people requested that link this morning saying that was fascinating and I want family and friends to hear it. So you might want to pick that up at worldviewtube.com later today. But he'll be with us in person, Chris Martenson. Dr. Lana is going to be with us. She's an expert on health, and so many vital issues related to the health crisis as we seek to make America healthy again. I think you'll appreciate her presentation. What's been going on in the vaccines, the food, dyes, toxins, and so much more that really we've been lied to. Even the idea and the ability to put into a medical record a child was damaged by a vaccine. I think it was 1970, what was it, Logan, 79? Since 1979, doctors haven't even had the option, according to our interview the other night with Karen Kingston, to even put that in a file and have it coded as a vaccine injury. So, of course, they don't see vaccine injuries. So Dr. Lana will be with us. And then Sidney Powell, the attorney Sidney Powell, who has written some excellent books on the weaponization of the Department of Justice and so much more. So quite the lineup, folks. And then we will have our Thursday night banquet concert. I'll tell you more about that. You can't register for that quite yet. We're finalizing the building. I'll be doing some numbers with my grand piano and piano player and a keynote presentation by a first-time guest yesterday who was a Muslim. Her parents were from Iran. Her dad said, hey, if you're going to choose a religion, go with Islam. I know more about that one. And she did. And she became a Christian. Her pastor is pastor from California. What's his name? Logan, what's the California pastor that's so popular on prophecy and everything? Anyway, I'll come up with it here in a minute. But that's her pastor, very large church out there, a Calvary Chapel church. So I had her on last night, and I didn't have to say much of anything, and this dear lady gave the gospel. Boom. And a couple people commented later, I love how bold she was in her faith. And so she'll be with us as a keynote speaker at the banquet on Thursday night, but that right there is not available yet for you to register at, but we'll get that up for you. Anyway, I wanted you guys to know, okay, so everybody has free opportunity to be with us on October 3rd. That's a Friday night, Saturday, October 4th, 350 seats only available for our 22nd annual Worldview International Conference or National Conference. Again, full details at worldviewstore.com, worldviewstore.com. I think I just got a text reminding me that Jack Hibbs, thank you, Jill. I knew, people always accused George W. Bush of his brain being that the other guy that used to work with Bush all the time, Karl Rove, that's it. Took me a minute. They always accuse Karl Rove of being Bush's brain. Sometimes I think Logan, Jill, and some others are my brain too. They're always prompting me when I forget something. But hey, I have a lot up there, okay? So there you go. Let's go to Aaron Levarko. What a sad day, not only in Israel, but also around the world. These sad pictures coming out of Israel of these coffins that it was just a disgusting ceremony. Have you guys seen the pictures? Have you seen the videos? And the graphic of Benjamin Netanyahu, a horrific graphic, a caricature of Benjamin Netanyahu that had him look like he had fangs, like a vampire, and then was talking about the Zionist and their weaponry. I'm a Christian Zionist, so there you go. This really comes down to what this worldview is really all about, right? Just horrific. Joining me now is Aaron Levarko, our reporter live on the ground in Israel. Aaron, welcome back to the broadcast on what I know is a horrifically sad day for your nation. I've seen the videos of some of your Israeli citizens on the streets, literally in tears, sobbing over this. Speak to us, please.
National Day of Mourning, Brandon. National Day of Mourning. Very, very, very sad, heartbreaking day. Our president spoke to our nation and said, he said, I bow my head and I ask for forgiveness for not protecting you on October the 7th.
Has he done that before?
Not in those words, but he has taken a sense of responsibility, even though the nation knows that he is not in any way directly involved in the security or any political decisions. But he's our president is the equivalent of your Secretary of State. So he's the statesman. So he was saying it kind of, or I liken him to kind of like a grandfather of the nation. And he said, I bow my head. I ask for your forgiveness for not protecting you on October the 7th and for not bringing you home alive. And to see that footage, Brandon, of a little baby, her father was tickling her and playing with her, and to see her cute little smiling face, and to know, and the reports are, Brandon, the reports are that the baby didn't die out of being murdered. The baby died out of starving and thirsting to death, malnutrition.
Now, can you imagine what a painful death that is?
Exactly.
Aaron, just for the radio audience and even the TV audience to understand, I have about an 85-inch flat screen television that's up against the wall right across from me, up above the camera. So I'm able to look up and see your face. I haven't seen you looking this way in a long, long time. What's going on with you personally today through all this?
Well, as I say, it's a national day of mourning. It's very, very heartbreaking. Everyone's out in the streets. Everyone are mourning. And on top of that, Brandon, we are very angry. We feel not toward the government. In fact, the opposite is happening, Brandon. We have a sense of unity right now. Everyone is together. Everyone is grieving together. But underneath, Brandon, we are angry at this evil. And the verse that came to me today, Brandon, from Genesis 4:10, God said to Cain, "What have you done? The blood of your brother cries out from the ground." And that's a question that he is going to ask Hamas, and we are asking Hamas right now, what have you done? You've crossed every line. And by the way, the Mufti, the Islamic Mufti of, I think it's Oman, he said that Hamas has brought shame on the whole of the Islamic world. That's a Muslim Mufti, he is saying that Hamas has crossed every line. 2 little babies and their mother have been sent back. And the other one, the 4th body, Brandon, he is an 85-year-old man, Oded Lipschitz. Do you know that he was the left of the left of the left? He was the most extreme left.
I read he was the founder of the kibbutz today. And when I read that, Aaron, that's all I read about the gentleman, that he was the founder of that kibbutz. And immediately my thought was, I bet you he was an absolute leftist. That was my thought.
Yeah, he was, but I'm going to defend him.
Oh, absolutely.
He was one of the most beautiful peacemaking, peace effort man that you could imagine. He actually...
I want you to talk about that on the other side of the break so you don't get cut off. But I was making the point that even the left have tried to appease these people, and it hasn't worked.
Hello, I'm Brandon House. Is the government tracking you? Do they have access to all your data? Well, if you go to worldviewtalk.com, you'll find out about a cell phone company that, does not store your data. They don't do that. This is what they're known for. They don't store your data. You have privacy. You're not being tracked. That's why a lot of folks are turning to worldviewtalk.com. You'll find their prices are very competitive. All the details are there at worldviewtalk.com. Again, worldviewtalk.com. Oh, while you're there, not only do they have cell phones that aren't tracking you, you can find out about how to get a satellite phone. Should the whole system go down and you want to communicate with a family member or a loved one, you might want to have a satellite phone. Or how about their solar generators? They have great solar generators. Check them all out right now. Worldviewtalk.com, worldviewtalk.com.
All right, welcome back. Glad you're with us. Hey, don't forget this coming Saturday night, April. Hey, Logan, can you come take this call for me, please? Hold just a second, please, ma'am. I think I know exactly what that is, and I want that. It's something I've been waiting on. I'll tell you what it is, actually, folks. It is a call I just saw come in from a company here in town. You guys would all know it. It's a chain, and you could go to this chain of stores, and they'll frame pictures for you. Well, I just, as you guys know, I sent them off. I sent them off. Went up there with my wife one weekend and said, here are like 15 historic newspapers. My mom sent me a ton of them, and then some of you have sent them to me. And we're talking the day Kennedy was shot, landing on the moon, the day Reagan was sworn in, the Challenger explosion, and I want them framed and matted and put them in our control room. But before I hang them in the control room, I'm going to bring them on the set and tell you guys about them. They're ready? Cool, we can maybe do that tonight and tell you guys about them, because I think it's I love history, okay? And I think this audience does too, because a big part of what we do here is history, right? That's a big part of your worldview is history. So anyway, I don't normally ask Logan to answer a phone during the show, but I knew exactly who was calling. I was hoping they were ready, because I love to see them and show you these wonderful historical papers. I didn't want to bring them up and put them on the set. I don't want to handle them a lot and get my oil from my hands on them and everything, so I haven't even really bothered to show many on the set at all. But I will say, if you have any old historic newspapers that you don't think your children or grandchildren are going to value and want, you're more than happy to send them my way, as many of you have already done, actually. And we'll mat them and we'll frame them and we'll give them a place of honor in one of our control rooms as a historical document. I think it's a lot of fun, actually. It's one of my hobbies, but there you go. All right. Don't forget, this coming Saturday evening, February 22nd, is our State of the Nation panel. It'll be for Vault members with J.J. Carroll, Colonel Rob Maness, and J.J. Carroll, Rob Maness, and Todd Binsman in studio, worldviewtube.com/vault. So Aaron joins us, our reporter from Israel, on the ground there, a day of mourning in Israel, and the videos are heartbreaking. And I want to just clarify. I agree with you. I'm not in any way disparaging this dear man that has now come home in a coffin. But all I read about him, aside from seeing his picture, was that he was the founder of the kibbutz. And I thought, well, if I remember correctly, a lot of the people in that kibbutz would have been more of the social justice, left-leaning individuals who allowed for a passageway, if you will, in the fence from the Gaza into their kibbutz right there on the border, and paid some of the Palestinians to work in their garden, provided them with income, tried to basically, if I could say, do the interfaith dialogue thing with them, right? And we talked about that, and we said how horrific it was that they chose anyone to murder. First of all, that they would choose anyone to murder, but they actually chose to murder people who chose to live on the border, open the fence for them to come through, pay them, and trying to build bridges to them. And these were the people they chose to murder. Okay, if that doesn't speak volumes, and if that doesn't show listening friends, for you, an example to give to your friends, these people don't want to coexist. You know the old bumper sticker, coexist? They don't want to coexist even as humans. Obviously, we cannot merge our faith with theirs, or God of the Bible is not Allah. But these folks are so evil. They chose to murder people that actually chose to live next to them as their neighbors and hire them and befriend them. If this doesn't show you there's no peace deal to be made, ever. Because these would be the people you would say, I'm sorry, we're not going after these people. We can go after the Orthodox. We can go after the IDF, but we're not going after these people because they're our friends. They hire us. They're kind to us. They're not bigoted toward us, or, whatever terminology they would want to use. If this shows you anything, there is no peace deal capable. Not until at least the Antichrist comes, and that's such a massive spiritual deception.
And Brandon, and that was so well put. And even the Arab nations, even they would agree with what you've just said as well. And they, from what I'm hearing from experts and scholars, the Arab nations are fed up with Hamas. They're going to get them out. And tomorrow is a very important summit that Saudi Arabia have invited. First, they invited a couple of nations, Egypt, Qatar, but now about another, I think altogether 8 nations now are joining in. They're going to be discussing it, what they're going to do the day after. They're going to come up with a counter plan to Donald Trump I was listening to an Israeli colonel on the television today. He was asked what he thinks is going to be the next stage for phase 2 in the negotiations. His response was very interesting. He said, I don't think the answer to that question is going to come from Tel Aviv. I think it's going to come from Washington.
Whew.
Meaning he thinks that Donald Trump, who you quoted, he was watching. That's what he thinks. But then we had another commentator saying he doesn't necessarily agree with that. He thinks the answer may come from the summit that the Saudi Arabians are calling. We will find out very soon. But
well, here's the headline. I mean, if these reports are to be believed, and I don't doubt them. I don't doubt these reports until someone comes out and says no. Wiped out, Trump reacts, ? To Hamas horribles propaganda. I don't know why that's spelled that way, but the horrible propaganda of Hamas, parade of hostages and coffins. See how much of this you can stomach. I managed to get through a full minute before shutting it down in disgust. But this Hamas rally using hostages and hostage bodies must be seen to be believed. Oh, so Evelyn Levy said, even I, who said Hamas was evil, never imagined it would parade the body of the Bibas children out in a public spectacle in mislabeled coffins with locks that don't open. What do you know about mislabeled? And apparently President Trump saw this, and Israel's Channel 14. Okay, this is your nation. Israel's Channel 14 has reported that seeing the dead baby parade from Gaza, President Trump said to his advisors, quote, I want to see Gaza wiped out. I don't want to see even one building standing, end quote. Can I say amen? Because I think, Aaron, you can vouch for this. How long have I, as an American, sitting here been saying that? I would razor that Gaza Strip from top to bottom.
And you know what? I think deep down everyone has been agreeing with that, been agreeing with you. The timing is going to be crucial, and it's obviously going to cost us.
Yeah.
And it has already cost us. I am hoping, I am praying that something like the what was it? Not the beepers, what do you call them? The
pagers.
I'm hoping, I'm praying that our boys, that our people in control, that they've got some kind of plan. Brandon, this is absolutely, I've got no question about it. God is going to avenge the blood of these babies.
So this was a tipping point. This was a tipping point.
This was a tipping point. He has to avenge it. He has to. He's got to bring judgment. The blood of those babies are crying out from the ground, not let alone the blood of all the others, but innocent babies like that.
And they let the babies starve to death and dehydrate, which is a horrific way to die. Dehydration is they say one of the most horrific, painful ways to die, with your tongue swelling and all kinds of horrific things. And I don't even want to talk about it. As a father, as a grandfather, I don't even want to talk about it. It's horrific, and it is a demonic, debased nature of these people that explains everything you need to know about them.
Absolutely.
I'm not perfect. Americans aren't perfect. I'm least of all perfect. I'm not perfect, but I'm not an evil person. People that know me will say, the thing about you, Brandon, is you can get angry. It's usually a righteous indignation, but you're not a vengeful person. You're not an angry person out of bitterness. You're actually someone that likes people. I like people, right? So I'm not an angry, bitter person, although I can get angry and hopefully from righteous indignation. We all have to be careful that that's the cause. But I'm not perfect. And you're not perfect, and Israel's not perfect, America's not perfect. But most of us in America, and most of you in Israel, you don't go around you're looking to murder people, and you don't look for ways to invent evil, and you don't look for ways to torture people. Your country has gone out of its way to stop babies from dying in the Gaza. to back up ambulances and get babies in incubators out of those hospitals. And to think that they, in return, allow a child to dehydrate and die in that painful way is really all we need to know.
And Brandon, I have heard credible reports that the babies were given into the hands of 10, because it wasn't always Hamas, it was the Palestinian people as well who kidnapped some of our people, and that there were there's video footage of children of the people who kidnapped the babies. 10-year-old boys were given responsibility to look after and babysit these babies, and they showed the babies in very, very unsafe places in the video that we managed to be able to see.
What do you know about the coffins? This report claims that the coffins were mislabeled with locks that don't open. Okay, so what's going on here?
Yes, I read about that. They were handed back in coffins, without locked coffins, without any keys. Brandon, all this is to do is to totally humiliate us. That's the goal. But here's the news, Brandon.
Do you know how they were mislabeled? How were they mislabeled?
Because it's all the propaganda. This is all their tactics.
So they had some kind of sticker on these coffins, correct?
Exactly. Stickers, labels, and they were misplaced, but they're not stupid. These people are not stupid. They are playing around. They are humiliating us. At least they're trying to. But here's the thing, Brandon. We are not humiliated by this. We are united. We have to pay a price. We know it. We are paying the price. And this is another big difficulty here. Is I've been listening to psychologists talking about the psychological effect on our nation. And sadly, we are in a place now, and this is according to the psychologists, I don't know whether I agree or not, but they said that Israel really can't move ahead and find our healing until we finish this phase and get all of the hostages back, even if they are dead. We've got to clear the slate here, because even when we get back the dead hostages, at least the families can bring some sense of closure, have funeral, and move on. But we can't move on to healing until we finish this phase. And there may be something in that. These next few days and weeks are going to be crucial, but I do take to heart what this colonel said, that the next phase 2 of the negotiations, the answer to how to go about it may not come from Tel Aviv, it may come from Washington. And I actually think...
Okay, hold right there. We do have break. We'll get on more on the other side of the break. We have breaking news. Kash Patel has now been confirmed, as we're on the air here in the last seconds, confirmed as the new FBI director. I say praise the Lord. Kash Patel has now been confirmed as the next FBI director. I've never had the chance to interview him, but we have produced him through our studio, our control room, several times. Our team has worked with him. Seems like a good guy.
Hello, I'm Brandon House. Melissa and I have been taking Bella Grace, this powerful elixir, since last fall, 2023. The results have been amazing. My hands would crack and bleed, deep cuts and cracks every winter for years. No matter what we did, we couldn't get them to stop cracking and bleeding. This year, I took Bella Grace, no cracking, no bleeding. My acid reflux, gone. Haven't had to take a Pepsid. My hair growth, the last 2 times I had my hair cut, the lady had to use thinning shears on my hair. That's amazing. We've also received incredible feedback from you, our listening audience, and the impact it's had for you. This is loaded with astaxanthin. That's a powerful antioxidant. Collagen, but top grade collagen. Studies show 95% of it is being absorbed in the body because of the way they develop it. Then we have something called cat's claw. That's an anti-inflammatory from a vine in Peru. It's the bark, and it's an anti-inflammatory. There are about 80 clinical trials on Bella Grace. Please get a subscription now and save. MelissaHouseBG.com.
All right, welcome back. Glad you're with us, Worldview Radio. Don't forget to stay tuned for Crosstalk coming up at the top of the hour on VCY America Radio Network. Your host, Jim Schneider, on over 100 outlets nationwide, America's original Christian talk program since the 1970s. If you don't have a VCY station in your market, then their website is V as in Victor, vcy.org, vcy.org. But if you're on one of their terrestrial stations, we invite you to stay tuned. And even if you're watching Worldview Tube, cruise on over there after this broadcast and listen, vcy.org. I just looked it up during the break there, Aaron. Aaron joins us from Israel, our reporter there, brought to you by our foundation, worldviewfoundation.com, worldviewfoundation.com. Aaron, I'm reading that the baby, one of the babies, if you say Kfir, how would you say that?
Fear.
Say it again.
Kafir.
Kafir. All right, I wanted to get it right. Baby Kafir was abducted and murdered before he was old enough to have dental records, and Hamas handed him back in a locked coffin labeled with his brother's name. Mm-hmm. So I was curious as to how it was mislabeled, and now we're learning. It also had some kind of sticker with something, derogatory about Benjamin Netanyahu. So again, using the coffins in this manner, just disgusting. Pick it up.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Aaron.
Absolutely. I was just saying before, right now, Bibi really needs Trump. He really needs Trump to by his side. The nation is hanging on almost without our last breath, it feels, because this is such a sensitive moment in our history, this exchange of getting our captives back after over 500 days, knowing that it's such a heavy price, and we know that we've got no choice. We're compelled to pay this price. But we also know, Brennan, that there's an expectancy that even after all this exchange is over, that it's not over. That we know, deep down, we know our military are going to hit. Now, while this is going on, you've got Trump's plan on the table to wipe out Hamas and even get the Palestinians out. While that's happening, Egypt and the Arab nations are scuffling together as fast as they can to get some other plan. Notice how in the whole war, not one Arab nation has come to the aid of the Palestinian people and Hamas in this fight. They have been indirectly, like Iran, have been sending them weapons and bombs, but only indirectly. But no other Arab nation has come to the aid. Now they're coming to their aid. Now they're trying to get some kind of coalition together because they don't want the Palestinians, and especially Hamas, out into their countries. So they're scrambling right now. So now will Trump...
And by the way, we have breaking news as well, Aaron. I don't even know if you're aware of this. We are getting reports of 2 explosions reported in Bat Yam, south of Tel Aviv, targeting 2 empty buses. No passengers were inside at the time. It's being investigated as a potential terror attack. Are you hearing this for the first time here?
Brandon, yeah, I just got it about 10 minutes ago, and one of my daughters lives in Bat Yam, but I know she's not there, thank God.
well, let's not tell people where your family lives.
You know what? You're right. I didn't think about that. In any event, I did see that headline. Correct. Yes.
Okay. Wow. Let me go over to worldviewreport.com. We have a lot of stories over there today. Worldviewreport.com. Let's see if we have anything else that I want to ask him about.
Brandon, while you're trying to find something, if I can just comment on
please.
The 85-year-old Oded Lipschitz that was murdered. His wife was one of the captives that was released about 6 months ago. She was one of the first released. And when she found out that her husband had been murdered, she just said, that to me is the hardest. I feel so betrayed. She used to have some of those Palestinians. She used to host them, Brannon. They would have a Turkish coffee. They would sit around with the tom-toms playing drums. She told reporters, and this was not known to the public, that her husband used to go to the army and ask for a special clearance to be able to go over into Gaza, and the army gave it to him. He was kind of an unofficial de facto peacemaker, a peacekeeper, trying to build bridges. And she says that's the hardest thing, to know that they totally betrayed him. And she's still alive, and she's got to, carry all of this to her grave. How is she?
And of course, the father is still living, of the murdered wife and his 2 children.
That's right. That's right. He's got no one left, and is no children, no wife. Yeah.
1-800-347-9829. Your thoughts, your comments, your questions. 1-800-347-9829. 1-800-347-9829. Your thoughts, your comments, your questions. 1-800-347-9829. I also read, Aaron, because of these coffins coming back and not obviously trusting these people, and particularly since your pager situation there, that what you guys did with the pagers, which is pretty remarkable. They had to scan with metal detectors these coffins to make sure there weren't explosives in these coffins.
Yeah, of course. Who are we dealing with? Absolutely. No question about it. Who can trust people like this? It's a no-brainer. And now they're in I think it's the forensic laboratories. By the way, the family, the husband and the wife and the children that were killed, they are originally Jews from Argentina that immigrated. And the president of Argentina is extremely pro-Israel. He is waiting for the baby's identity to be confirmed. And the moment it's confirmed, he is calling for a national day of mourning in Argentina. God bless that man. He's a real, true friend of Israel. And this is the kind of thing that the world needs to do to change the narrative and the anti-Semitism and the hatred against Jews. People like him who take those steps. The leader of a nation calling for a national day of mourning. Kudos to that man.
1-800-347-9829. Let's go to the phone lines. Guy from South Dakota calling in for a question for Aaron. Hi, Guy.
Yes, hi. Good to hear from you again, Brandon.
Thank you. You too,
Aaron,
Guy.
You mentioned earlier about the cell phones and the pagers having the technology to take out a lot of these jihadists. Is the thought for me, as far as God's vengeance upon these wicked people that have caused so damage and murder and etc., that the same technology can be used with those that have been released back to Palestine, all the criminals that have been released for the return of our brothers and sisters from having been taken hostage. Because I see when they are being let loose, you've got all these blackheads with green bandanas in a clump of people that same technology can be used to take out a mass of them all at once and stuff as part of eliminating the Hamas jihadists from the area.
Okay, Guy?
Yeah.
Thank you, Guy. Comment, Aaron?
Yeah, thank you, Guy. And that's what I was saying before. I hope our boys, our military and political experts have got some kind of plan, maybe something like that. Listen, the Pages plan, that took about 20 years to plan. Wow. We haven't had that amount of time, but that's part of the miracle. All we need is one strategy in the brain of one of our leaders, and we just need to execute it. And so you may be right there, Guy. I hope it happens.
Let's go to William in Wisconsin, line 4. Hi, William.
Hello, how you doing today?
Good, thank you, William.
Listen, I got a question regarding your upcoming event in Waukesha.
Yes, sir.
I was thinking with your ability to use technology as you do, perhaps you could have Aaron there via the TV or a satellite or something with you and Pastor Andy Woods.
Well, we could absolutely do that.
Interesting.
We could absolutely do that, William. If it starts at 7. What time does it start, guys? 7 o'clock Central. Is that right? The question is, would Aaron want to be with us at 7:30 Central? It'd be pretty late at night in Israel.
Brandon, of course.
All right. Well, we'll work with Logan. We'll work with Logan to see if we can get that done and have Aaron join us on the big screen and greet specifically you guys at the Waukesha Expo Center for our April 15th Tuesday night Worldview Radio Understand the Times rally. I think it's a great idea. Great idea, William. Thank you for the idea. Aaron?
Actually, Brandon, I'm actually going to be in the States.
What?
I am coming to the States late March, and I was interviewed by Shaham last week, and we're working on me coming over to Tennessee and speaking at perhaps his church or something like that. Okay, so
can we just go ahead and book you now to be with us in person? We'll pay for your flight and airfare to come to Milwaukee.
Absolutely, I'd love to.
You hesitated. Was that the Skype delay, or were you thinking?
No. I tell you why, because I don't know exactly where I'll be. What day of the week is it?
That's a Tuesday night, April 15th.
Yeah, no, if it's in the middle of the week, I think that's a definite. I would be honored to. I would love to.
Logan, can you update our graphics, please? What a miracle, William. William, you still there?
Making me smile tremendously. The timing was good, I suppose.
Yeah, it was providential. Are you coming to the event, William?
Yes, I am.
Well, you're going to get to meet. You're going to get to meet Aaron live in person.
I want to shake your hand,
all
William.
of you, but thank you so much for what you guys do for all of us that care.
Well, thank you, and thank you for calling today and getting this started. Wow, how providential that we picked that date. You're in the country. William calls, asked for it. It all worked out right here on live TV and radio. Wow. Let's get the graphics updated. Let's add Aaron to it, and pretty much we now know everybody's going to be coming to see Aaron, and Dr. Woods and I will just be along for the ride. So that's fine with us. Again, the tickets are free. The tickets are free. I mean, you can hear Dr. Woods and I pretty much and see us at something once a year, but this is a rare opportunity to meet in person Aaron, that's for sure. The tickets are free, but you got to get a ticket so we know we have enough seats put out. So please do that. worldviewtube.com/events. worldviewtube.com/events. We'll get the graphics remade, add Aaron's picture, and I'm pretty excited because we weren't able to have you at our national conference because you couldn't get here to get a flight.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I was really disappointed. I was leading up to that. I was really excited. And then I think we both agreed it looked inevitable that I wouldn't be able to get back to Israel. So, I think it was the right decision from both of us. But providentially, I'm going to be in the States. So
amazing. Absolutely amazing. Well, I'm excited. I was excited about it anyway. Now I'm doubly excited. This would be awesome. Let's see here. Let's go to David in Florida. Well, David, I'll tell you what, we're going to hold you, David, because there's a break coming up and I want the music to drown you out. So hold right there, David. All the rest of you can get on board. Your thoughts, your comments, your questions, 1-800-347-9829, 1-800-347-9829. A day of mourning, not just in Israel, but I would say around the world. Anybody watching today that's got a heart, a conscience, a moral compass has got to be sad and very melancholy, to say the least, watching these horrific images come out of the Middle East with the caskets of these 4 deceased individuals being paraded as a political and terroristic propaganda stunt. We'll be back with your thoughts and comments. Don't go away.
Hello, I'm Brandon House. I want to thank you for all your support at wvwfoundation.com that helps make possible pushing out 24/7 content for free. Without your support, we'd have to put it all behind a paywall. But thanks to you and your support through our foundation, we're able to push it out for free as a broadcast service and broadcast ministry of WVW Foundation. Please consider going there and setting up an automatic monthly contribution, or go there and make an occasional contribution. If you prefer to support us through the mail, you'll find our mailing address there at wvwfoundation.com. You can also call and make your contribution over the phone by calling 901-825-0652. That's 901-825-0652. Again, all these details are available at wvwfoundation.com. Thank you for your support as we try to help people around the world understand the times through the lens of a Christian worldview.
All right, welcome back. Glad you're with us. Worldview Radio, our website, worldviewradio.com. Let's go to David, line 2. David's in Florida. Hi, David.
Hi, Brandon. How are you? I wanted
great,
to
David.
speak to Aaron there. Is he still there?
He is still with us, David.
Okay. Aaron, I wanted to say you are such an inspiration to me. It's the highlight of my day whenever Brandon has you on his show. As a Jewish believer, like I said, I see the Lord's light shine through you, and it is such a blessing to me. And I know this is a national day of mourning, and I can see that the tears in your eyes. And trust me, I've been crying my eyes out along with you. And all I want to say is that the Bible says that vengeance belongs to the Lord, and when the Lord takes vengeance, He gets it better than any of us could ever hope for. And I just want to say, my friend, God bless you. Thank you so much for working with Brandon, and we will get through this, and you will get through this. And my heart is with you. That's what I wanted to say.
Thank you, David. Really appreciate it. Aaron, let me ask you, do you believe, Aaron, when we're watching what we are here with the evilness of this Islamic movement here, do you believe that all of the murder of believers in the tribulation and the talk of the sword being used, do you believe Islam is going to play a big role in the martyr of believers in the tribulation?
Look, the way things have been going, the way things are going, if someone does not somehow cut the head off the snake, meaning somehow stop the funding, stop the production of potentially nuclear bombs, if someone doesn't, really cut the legs and the head off, absolutely, Brandon. It's in their nature. They say that they're peaceful, but they're only peaceful when they're totally in control of every situation. So until they're in total control, they're on a mission. They're on a mission, and part of that mission is you have to control people and land. And if anyone gets in the way, and if anyone is in opposition to that, then they have a heavenly decree, a mission to do that. So I definitely can see it happening, Brandon, but who knows what's going to happen before then. And that someone may, for all we know, there could be some kind of Muslim leader that, like Mohammed bin Salman from Saudi Arabia, who is a very moderate Muslim. He may change the whole face of the Islamic world. We don't know. But as I said, the way things are going, I definitely can see it happening.
Let's go to Brad, line 3. Hi, Brad. Thanks for calling in, Brad.
Hey, Brandon.
Hey, Brad.
Boy, this whole thing is disgusting. I don't think it gets worse. It starts out with 3 to 4 innocent hostages being traded for roughly 300 Muslim cowards. That's way unbalanced to start. And the next thing is, I'm wondering what these cement-headed college scholars with their Muslim flags have to think and say now.
Yep.
I guess all in all, it doesn't make any difference what they have to say, because we know what Jesus has to say. I don't know if I got the words right here. I don't have an open Bible in front of me.
Brad,
where he says, "Woe to those who laugh now. You will weep."
Brad,
people
my wife
dancing in the streets when they return the dead bodies.
My wife made a comment earlier today, Brad, where she sees people that have the Palestinian flag on their social media. And my wife said, Brandon, do you think these people understand what it is this represents? And I said, for a lot of them, no. It's college students, it's ignorant people who bought the lies, the propaganda. But Brad, if anything ought to clarify what the flag represents today, should clarify, you're representing the murder of innocent children, and you're representing through this flag the use of their dead bodies as a propaganda tool, and they died in one of the most horrific ways, dehydration and starvation. So any American that has the Palestinian flag on their social media or wherever else, you're saying that you're okay with this. Do you think that's a legitimate statement, Brad?
That's exactly right. Exactly. And they've got the same kind of stuff coming to them as the people who do this stuff. You know, if you're in favor of it, you're in league with it. That's why they call them cement head. Nothing gets through to them.
Are you going to be with us in April, Brad?
Yeah, we're signed up.
Good. Looking forward to seeing you in person.
Likewise.
Tell Beth
it's been a
we said
long
hi.
time.
You're going to bring Beth with you, right?
Yes, I am.
All right. Thank you, Brad. Let's go to Charles in Minnesota. Then we'll get a comment from Aaron. Go ahead, Charles in Minnesota, line 4. Hi, Charles.
Yep. Hello.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm just questioning what Israel is looking at in the future to prevent this kind of horrible exchange, the loss of people and getting the hostages and so forth, the whole hostage thing. They use it over and over. Is Israel looking at anything to stop that pattern?
That's a great question, Charles. What are you guys going to do? You're going to pass any kind of legislation or anything over that says, look, guys, if you get kidnapped, we're not going to be trading terrorists for you to come home?
One of the problems in doing that is that it may have a negative effect on the parents of future soldiers that will be enlisted into the Israeli Defense Forces. Something has to be done, though. I absolutely believe something has to be done, but what that is, it's a tough one. I don't know the answer.
Mm-hmm. You know, Ronald Reagan, I'm sure Charles is referring also to the idea that Ronald Reagan was pretty big on the fact we don't negotiate with terrorists, because all you do then is just put a bigger and bigger target on the heads of Americans.
Exactly.
Yeah. Charles, thank you for that. Aaron, closing comment to our audience today.
Well, I just want to say thank you to all those callers, and I know that many Americans are standing with us, and thank you for your sympathies and your prayers. This war is far from over, and we need your continued prayers.
Indeed. Aaron Levarko, light to the nationsministry.com. Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you, Brandon.
Aaron is brought to you by our foundation, worldviewfoundation.com. We send him regular love offerings because a workman's worthy of his hire, and he works for us, bringing us news and information at all hours of the day and night. There's a big time difference between us and Israel, so we appreciate your support, worldviewfoundation.com. Tell your family and friends they can come hear Aaron in person April 15th, worldviewtube.com/events. Stay tuned for Crosstalk. Take care.
This has been...
And that's our broadcast on those stations, and I do hope you will spread the word far and wide. worldviewtube.com/events. I think you're going to find 2 events there now when you go there. worldviewtube.com/events. That's why it's plural, because now you're going to find the April 15th event with Aaron, and you're going to find the Worldview Weekend National Conference in October. So spread the word. There's no reason why we shouldn't have every chair that's in that building out on that floor on the evening of April 15th. Aaron Levarko, as you just heard, has been added to the lineup, I think, providentially. Absolutely amazing, as you heard it unfold right here on the air live. Okay? So please, spread the word. If you know of family and friends that live in the Illinois, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Michigan region, let them know about this. A great opportunity to be at an event with myself, Dr. Woods, and now Aaron Levarko live in person on Tuesday evening, April 15th. Right now it's slated from 7 to 9:30, 7 to 9:30. I'm almost wondering if we ought to go 6:30 to 9:30, Logan, just to add in a little extra time and have some Q&A, but we'll let you guys know. There you go. What a big day and opportunity to have Aaron there in person. So excited about that. So please spread the word about it. worldviewtube.com/events. Spread the word too about our national conference, October 3rd and 4th. It's a Friday night and a Saturday. Tickets went on sale last night. It is first come, first serve. There are only 350 seats. It's Friday night and it's all day Saturday into the evening on Saturday. We will have a Thursday night banquet and mini concert. My piano player, my grand piano player, and I will be doing a few numbers. And then we're going to have as a keynote speaker a lady I interviewed for the very first time last night who was, her parents were born in Iran. They came over here. She was born in America. And she got older. She said, I got to pick a religion. So she chose Islam. Her dad said, I know that one best. Pick that one. And but she went into the New Age movement, if you will, mixed with Islam. And eventually someone shared the very simple gospel with her. And she believed. And she goes to Jack Hibbs Church out there, Calvary Chapel in California. And I found out about her through our editor, Jill. And I had her on last night, and what a great interview that was. If you want to watch it at worldviewtube.com. So she worked for our government as a contractor, dealing with the Department of State Department and the FBI. And she knows firsthand the massive threat of Islam and terror cells in the U.S. and what's happening in Israel. So again, she'll be our keynote speaker on Thursday night at the banquet on Thursday night. We will have a white linen tablecloth banquet on Thursday night. By the way, I think we'll be serving, what do you think we're going to be serving? If you're coming to the Mid-South, just outside of Memphis, what do you think we might serve you? Of course, Southern barbecue. I said, Hunt, I think we ought to bring in from our favorite restaurant we've been going to now for 20 years. We love it. We ate there a couple weeks ago, and we have two waitresses we love there that have been working there for a couple decades, and they're sisters, and we love it when they wait on us. And we love the food. It's amazing barbecue. We're talking pork barbecue, pulled pork, minced pork, potato salad that is amazing potato salad, coleslaw, beans, and of course we could add in, for those who don't like pork, we could add in, and we'll add in barbecue chicken. So we'll probably do that for the banquet. And if there's any kind of dietary issues, let us know, and we might be able to pick up something else to add into it for that evening. But yeah, a great opportunity to have some of the best barbecue chicken, barbecue pork, potato salad, beans, coleslaw. It's amazing. Their slogan is, it's so good it'll make you slap your mama. That's their slogan on cups and T-shirts. And a few of my friends have come through and bought those T-shirts. So anyway, that's Thursday night. Those tickets are not available yet, but if you're making your plans, plan on being here Thursday night. We should be able to have the tickets for that evening available, if not by tomorrow, certainly by Monday, okay? We just got to finalize the contract with the venue, but there you go. So please spread the word about our events, worldviewtube.com/events, worldviewtube.com/events. Now, before we head off, I need to remind you again, folks, we're brought to you by you. If you appreciate all the 24/7 programming we're bringing you free of charge, and look at all the programs we're producing and shoving out absolutely free, and then on demand later, we need your support. Please consider us, worldviewfoundation.com. We need to see our giving kick up a little bit, folks. I know budgets get tight because people are paying off Christmas bills in January and February. I get it. But we need to see a kick up in donations. So please consider going now. Worldviewfoundation.com, worldviewfoundation.com. Okay? You'll also find our mailing address there if you prefer to support us through the mail. Okay? Thank you so much for your support. Also, another way you can support us is worldviewtube.com/vault. Now, if you're a Vault member, you're going to be able to live stream this Saturday night with J.J. Carroll, Todd Bensman, and Colonel Rob Maness. And you'll be able to live stream the April event, and you'll be able to live stream what else we have? Oh, the fall conference in the fall if you can't make it in person. So worldviewtube.com/vault. Thanks for being with us. Take care.
You're watching Worldview Tube, built on the 35 years of Worldview books, documentaries, research, high-profile interviews, and the radio and television broadcasts of Brannon House.
Colonel Rob Maness has a lifelong record of providing dedicated service to this nation. Having worked his way up from the enlisted ranks to full colonel, he served our country for more than 32 years. He has served as a bomber squadron commander, bomb disposal technician, Joint Chiefs of Staff Operations Officer, assisted the National Security Team with the campaign plan for the global war on terrorism, He authored the first theater nuclear war plan and served as the vice commander of America's largest airborne intelligence wing. Colonel Rob Maness is a true American hero. This is Rob Maness Live.
And you know, one of the things I'm going to advise Donald Trump to do in order to correct the chronic disease epidemic is to ban pharmaceutical advertising on TV. There's only 2 countries in the world that allow pharmaceutical advertising on the airwaves. One of them is New Zealand and the other is us. And we have the highest disease rate and we buy more drugs and they're more expensive than anywhere in the world. Italy spends about 1/6 that we spend on healthcare. And Italians live 7 years longer. So whatever they're doing does not work. And don't you want a president who is going to fix this country? Don't you want a president who's going to end the addiction to foreign wars? And don't you want a president who's going to end their censorship and surveillance and return freedom of speech to our country? And don't you want a president who's going to clean out the corruption and drain the swamp at the regulatory agencies? And get the chemicals out of our food and protect our children and restore their health and make America the healthiest country in the world, which it was when I was a kid. Don't you want a president who's going to make America healthy again? And don't we deserve a president who will make America great again? Will you go to the polls on Tuesday and make sure that we all ride that big garbage truck to Washington, D.C.?
Well, RFK Jr. was confirmed. That was obviously before the election. And Big Pharma and Big Food are freaking terrified, people. It's Truth Thursday on the Rob Maness Show, and we're live on Worldview Tube. Our X Spaces simulcast, and YouTube, Rumble, all that stuff. Truth Social Plus and Roku. Well, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is confirmed as Secretary of Health and Human Services, and I couldn't be more pleased. But the corporate pharma, public health Nazis, and Fauciites of the entire world are scared to death.